Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and really appreciate you guys coming by the channel to join me for today's video. Guys, today I sort of want to have a conversation. I want to follow up. I did a video last week on some of some of the worst bass fishing lures that you can use right now. I want to follow that up on some of the worst techniques that you can use as far as the low percentage techniques, and then I'm going to talk about some of the high percentage techniques in terms of the amount of time that you spend on the water doing something versus the number of fish you catch on it. Because you know, unless you just live on the lake and can fish every single day of the week, we all have a limited amount of time, and we want to put ourselves around the most fish with the techniques that produce the most fish and the biggest fish. So I've got a handful, well, not more of a handful, I've got, you know, probably half a dozen different things that are well-known bass fishing techniques that I think are sort of a waste of your time. So we're going to go over that in today's episode. Also, guys, couple quick housekeeping tips that you guys have to absolutely suffer through every video that I do. I just want to invite everybody, anyone interested in booking an on-the-water lesson with me, you can do that. Just go to my Facebook page, Randy Blaukat Professional Angler. I do most of my lessons here in Missouri on Table Rock and Stockton Lake and some other close lakes here. This is a great way to learn about it. If you want to learn about certain techniques in fishing, I can teach them to you on the water. So just, like I said, go to my Facebook page, Randy Blaukat Professional Angler, and shoot me a private message. And as always, guys, thank you very much for everybody that's been using all the links I put in my channel descriptions to support intuitive angling. A big thank you for me and my family there. Okay, before I get into this video, I always get the trolls here, and it's like every time I do something talking about how something doesn't work that great, or, you know, I can't catch them doing this, inevitably some dude gets on there, oh, Randy, you're full of it. I got 50 fish today doing that today. It still works great. You just suck. You don't know how to fish anymore. So I fully expect that to happen. I fully expect those comments to show up. But anyway, everything that I'm talking about here, guys, there are windows where they do work. And I'm not saying that they do not catch fish anymore. But what I'm trying to reiterate in this video is that the amount of time that you spend on certain techniques versus the reward that you get for those techniques, I want to go over some of the ones that just, in my opinion, are a waste of time, and some of the best ones too. Okay, the first one, and probably one of the most of all time, biggest overrated technique, the biggest waste of time that you're ever going to have, is fishing a glide bait. Glide baits have gotten a lot of notoriety over the past 10 years or so. Big bass get caught on them, handful of tournaments get won on them. But guys, I'm telling you right now, glide bait fishing, for the most part, is a waste of your time. You're going to throw it and throw it and throw it and put very few fish in the boat. You know, you might get fish looking at the thing, and you know, that's about it. For the number of hours that you actually throw a glide bait, the number of bass you put on the boat is minuscule compared to anything else. And that even gets more true the larger the bait is. The bigger the glide bait, the even more of a waste of a time it is. Some of those things, guys, they look so dang good. The high-tech design on some of these glide baits, they look like a dang real fish, and they look good in the water. They look like a live bait coming through the water, but for whatever reason, bass gets their attention, but it does not get them to commit to a bite. And the same is true for another category along those lines, are the larger swim baits. The bigger swim baits, once you start getting into that 7 and 8 inch and 10 inch model, they'll catch fish, but like I said, you're going to waste a lot of time throwing them when you're not going to get them. Another bait, guys, it's a waste of time in my opinion, are those super deep diving crankbaits like that Strike King 10XD and that new line of like those 25-foot plus crankbaits. And that's another thing, guys. Speaking of that, is what the heck's happened to deep cranking? It's like you don't hear anyone catching any fish on it anymore. It's like that was like a staple technique in my fishing and a world of tournament fishing. The last big tournament I won down at Table Rock Lake, I went back in 2007 or 8 or something like that. I won deep cranking, but for whatever reason, the fish do not bite deep diving crankbaits like they used to. Again, you can catch some fish on them, but the amount of time that you fish throwing those big deep diving crankbaits, you know, they're just not going to produce that much anymore. So I just would not wait. It's like there's other lures. If you're on that type of bite, like you're catching them 20 foot deep, there's usually a better lure to throw, like, you know, Carolina rig or football head jig or shaky head or something like that, that will catch some bigger fish, or even, you know, sometimes like a big worm, something like that, a 10 or 12-inch worm. But the big crankbaits, like I said, for the amount of time that you're going to throw them, you're not going to, doesn't seem like they produce that many fish on them. Another bait, guys, that, and this is something that sort of evolved over the last 5 or 6 years, guys, is a dang spinnerbait. A spinnerbait, now let me rephrase this for the most part, because there are windows during the year where a spinnerbait is awesome. You know, sometimes, you know, slow rolling a big spinnerbait during the pre-spawn can be really good. Fish burning a spinnerbait. I love burning that little Megabass SV3 spinnerbait in the fall time of the year when that water starts to get around 60 degrees. And then if you got some muddy situations, you know, like a big thumping spinnerbait. There are windows during the course of the year where a spinnerbait still works really good. But overall, if you just put on a standard half-ounce willow leaf spinnerbait and you throw it throughout the course of a year's time, you're not going to catch that many fish on it for the amount of time that you throw it. Fish get conditioned to a spinnerbait really quick because they have unique vibrations, they got certain flashes, and they've been around forever. And like a lot of these lures we're talking about, they have specific windows that they're going to work good, which leads me into the next one, is a dang whopper plopper. Guys, whopper plopper got ruined down here in this part of the country. There was a time frame about 15 years ago where a handful of us here in the Ozarks knew about the whopper plopper, and we were catching just unbelievable fish on it. And then a couple local tournaments got one on the thing, and the guys that won the tournament gave it away, and then literally you couldn't go to the lake without seeing somebody throwing a dang whopper plopper. And they have gradually, every single year, lost their effectiveness. Now, again, there's going to be some guys saying, Randy, you're full of, like, you're still catching them on a whopper plopper. Well, good for you, because come over here to Missouri and you throw a whopper plopper on some of our Missouri lakes and we'll see how many fish you catch on it. But that's one of those top waters, guys, that it has got to be perfect situation for that thing to work. And for me, the perfect whopper plopper situation is late summertime, when it's tough fishing and those fish really react to some type of an aggressive reaction strike. Sometimes a big whopper plopper in the very tough time of year during late summer and early fall when it's hard to get a bite, that bait will trigger a reaction strike if you throw it long enough. But again, for the amount of time that you throw the thing, you know, you're probably going to have a hard time catching on it. So those are some of the most obvious ones out there. Now, some of the high percentage technique, guys, if you want to maximize that your fishing time and you want to go out and you want to consistently put bass in the boat with some techniques that you're not going to waste your time with, let's talk about a few of those. Number one, guys, is a shaky head. Shaky head is freaking deadly. 12 months out of the year, you can catch them on a shaky head. If you get a bite on a shaky head, you're going to get it in the boat most of the time. They're not just going to look at it. Shaky head, if you do not fish shaky heads, guys, you need to spend a lot of time fishing one, because they are bass catching baits unbelievable. They're not, you think that wouldn't be that much different than like a Texas rig worm or something like that, but there's something about a shaky head presentation that is just highly effective. So learn the shaky head, guys. One tip I'll give you on shaky heads that'll help you guys out is use a light head on them. A lot of people use the 3/4 ounce and 1/4 ounce heads on them a lot. I don't ever do that. If you can get by with it, guys, put you a 1/16 of an ounce shaky head. I like that Gamakatsu tricky head. That's my favorite one. And like a Zoom trick worm. You know, I usually either use a Zoom trick worm or a 4-inch Zoom finesse worm, or sometimes I'll use a soft plastic stick bait on there. Deadly, deadly bait, man. They catch a lot of fish with that. Another thing that'll catch a lot of fish consistently, again, if you got the right situation, is a small crankbait. My favorite small crankbait is that Megabass, the Megabass Super Z2 crankbait. It's about a little over an inch long. Some type of like a small square bill crankbait, but a small crankbait that is no more than like 1.25 inches, at the very most 1.5 inches long, is a consistent fish producer, especially if you have some off-colored water. As long as that water temperature is over about 55 degrees, that little crankbait will catch a lot of fish. It's deadly on riprap. I mean, you can catch a ton of fish on riprap with it. So you definitely want to get something like that. Another bait that's going to be really good for you guys is a drop shot. A drop shot is not one of my favorite lures to fish, but it is a high percentage lure. And don't think that a drop shot is a bait for like deep suspended fish, because one of the best drop shot trips I ever had is I was fishing with Aaron Martins and I were fishing together, you know, just fun fishing down at Lake Gunnersville one year. And Aaron showed me how to fish a drop shot in like 3 foot of water. And we were just fishing right along the bank, and, you know, 2 and 3 foot of water, just casting and pitching a drop shot up where I never thought they would bite one in a million years. And if you're the thing about a drop shot that'll help you out is the shallower the water you're fishing with a drop shot, make your leader shorter. So if you're fishing less than 5 foot of water with a drop shot, make your leader like 4 or 6 inches long. And as you go deeper, make your leader a little bit longer. But guys, I don't care if you're fishing 2 foot of water or 60 foot of water, a drop shot is a great bait for not only bottom fish, but suspended fish. It's a fish catching bait. And that's one of the things Aaron always told me all the time. He goes, Randy, you got to fish that drop shot more. You got to fish that shaky head more. Because I was always power fishing, you know, with big jigs, big crankbaits, you know, pitching and flipping a lot. And he was right. I mean, he was one of the most consistent anglers out there, you know, with the drop shot and the shaky head. So drop shot, shaky head, small crankbait's going to be really good. And another bait, guys, is you have to master chatterbait. Chatterbait is one of those lures out there that it has a devout following amongst the people that know how to fish it. And it works good almost all year long except for the winter time. It's super versatile. It works in dirty water, it works in between water, and it even works in clear water. There's a lot of variations with blade combinations and skirt combinations and trailer combinations, but there is not a single lake in this country that the fish won't bite a chatterbait, and usually it produces bigger fish. Chatterbait is definitely something you need to master. And finally, guys, a wacky rig. Wacky rigs sort of like the drop shot and the shaky head. Very subtle, very finessey. Fish don't get conditioned to it. Try wacky rigging, guys. Also a zoom trick worm. A lot of people use a Cinco or something like that, which works good. But try going to that finesse worm or that Cinco or that trick worm. It's more subtle and it falls a lot slower. It's just deadly on shallow bass. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed it. Hope it helps you guys catch some. We'll talk later.